Hello, this is Tip Top Gaming here today with another spoiler video. Commander 2019 spoilers literally ended yesterday, and of course now we've Throne of Eldraine spoilers. Then again, this isn't so much a spoiler but a leak, but why don't we get into that? So what ended up happening was this ended up like showing up basically just somewhere, and it ended up on Reddit, and it got passed all around, and everything looks super official. There's a couple things to note here. First off, it's hard to tell, but at the very bottom of the cards where the card number would be, the second one is blanked out, and this has happened a couple times. They've like shown stuff, and then they've blanked out the total amount of cards, and and it looks like it was done in post, like just they added a strip over it, not like they're not gonna put card numbers on, because that doesn't make any sense. It's almost like there's an unnatural amount of cards or something, or they are trying to hide something. It's hard to tell. But either way, let's besides that strange anomaly, these are from the Planeswalker deck, and what's interesting is that these three cards are all mono red, but you'll notice at the top it says that there is white in this deck. Well, I'm not really going to go any further into that. That's just something I found really interesting. Is that just, it's a red deck, or it's a mono, the Planeswalker is mono red, all the supporting cards are mono red, but then it's white. Second thing you might notice is that these are not in English, and so what I did is I got my trusty MTG card maker out, and I basically took the translated versions and added them to cards. Of course, I don't have any high-res images, and I don't know if you noticed, but these images by themselves aren't that great, so condensing them even more got us these lovely images. Now, why don't we break these down a little more? So, here are the three cards. They are very standard for a commander deck. For instance, the Raw deck from Guilds of Ravnica contained the Planeswalker, which was pretty bad, similar to most Planeswalker decks. A card that does something, and then searches for him, that's overpriced for what it does, and then a card that benefits from having his type of Planeswalker. You can also see this with things such as Ajani from the very first Commander deck. This format has stayed true with the Planeswalker decks forever, and so this is obviously, I'm using this to show that it's obviously from the Planeswalker deck. Either way, why don't we get into this? Let's start with the big one. Rowan Interpret Spark Mage. 5 cost, 5 loyalty, which is pretty good. I don't know if you noticed, but a lot of the Planeswalker decks have like high mana cost. I know these are 6 and hers is 5, but it's still a significant change. And a lot of them, like I believe there's a Vraska from Guilds of Ravnica that's a 7 cost that comes out with like 4 loyalty. So it's pretty good to see a 5 for 5, and then until up to 1 target creature gains +3/+0 and first strike until end of turn for a +1. That's pretty good, especially because first strike, unless the creature survives the attack or has first strike, it doesn't need a toughness boost. The -2 says Rowan deals 1 damage to up to 2 target creatures. Those creatures cannot block. That is also very powerful for combat. Just basically, someone swings at you being like, okay, yeah, I'll have these defenders. Then you either drop Rowan or they're dumb and don't realize Rowan's there. And you -2 her, and boom, they can't block, and now you get to attack. And what's even more disruptive to combat is her -9. Yes, this is 4 turns. 4 turns after she comes out, you can gain control of all creatures until end of turn, untap them, and they gain haste. Here's the thing. This ultimate could just be useless. They could not have any creatures. Someone could have just board wiped. You don't have to kill Rowan to remove this -9, just board wipe. This card is obviously not, I don't think it's going to find any place in the meta. However, it is one of the more powerful Planeswalker deck cards. Interestingly, the most common card that's in a Planeswalker deck that I've noticed to become meta, or part of the meta, is Ajani, because it's pretty typical. Ajani from the Planeswalker deck of M19 was almost more popular than the other one. Either way, why don't we get into the rare? Rowan's Valiant. Of course, these are all translated, so in the end they might come out to a different name, but that's what we're at. It's a 5 cost, 5/2, and when it enters the battlefield, search your library and graveyard for Rowan Interpret Spark Mage, reveal it and add it to your hand. If you searched your library this way, shuffle your library. It's a 5 cost, 5/2. That gets you Rowan. It's okay. And then we have a 4 cost, we don't know, because if you look at the original image, it's cut off. So, yeah. It's just, yeah. But it's a 4 cost something with first strike, and if you control Rowan, you get +3/+0. So I don't see this being that powerful. I mean, take a look at these other cards. This is a 3, this one's a 3/3 for 4, and, he does get +1 for each card in your hand until end of turn. So I guess they are generally powerful, but they're very conditionally powerful, and if you don't have the Planeswalker, they're pretty weak. So it's not going to be a 4/4. It has first strike. I'm going to guess it's going to be a 2/3, maybe 1/3, that boosts up to a 4/3. Something along those lines. Either way, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys want to stay up to date with all the latest spoilers and Magic the Gathering news, as well as other fun playing games, hit that like button, subscribe. It really means a lot to me. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.